Well, guys, that was not what I was hoping to see in this first Packers game versus the Saints. As you guys know, I predicted Packers to win 35 to 24, and it was nowhere even close, not even like anywhere, nowhere close whatsoever. The Saints won 38, Packers 3. It was Aaron Rodgers' biggest loss of his career, 35-point deficit. And honestly, there's just not many, I guess, good things to take away from this game. There's lots of, obviously, from the score, as you can see. It was a pretty bad game from the Packers all around. We take a look at Aaron Rodgers and his stats: 15 for 28, 133 yards, 0 touchdowns. He threw 2 interceptions, and he had a 36.8 passer rating. So it was a terrible game from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, really watching the game, it didn't seem like the receivers were really getting too open. There were lots of times where Rodgers, had time back in the pocket, but then no one seemed to be open because he couldn't find anyone to hit deep. So the Saints came in, had a great game on defense, and really held lots of the receivers in check. We know the Saints have a great defensive line, and the Packers, with a couple young guys on the line, being without David Bakhtiari, definitely, pressured Aaron Rodgers a good amount in that game as well. Sacking him, I think, 2 times in that game. But also, too, the Packers' running game couldn't get going. If we take a look at the Packers' running back stats, A.J. Dillon actually led with rushing yards, 4 carries for 19 yards, which is bad if your leading running back has 19 yards. Aaron Jones, 5 carries for 9 yards. Kylan Hill, 5 carries for 14 yards. So the Packers' offense just couldn't get anything going the entire game, only coming away with one field goal in that game. So props to the Saints for coming in and really shutting down what most people think is a top offense in the NFL. So now it makes you wonder, what went wrong in that game for the Packers, and is it going to continue to go wrong? As I was sort of talking about in the live stream I had today, watching the Packers game with you guys who were there, I mean, obviously it doesn't look good, but I'm not going to say that, one terrible game means the Packers will be terrible for the rest of the season. Obviously, things went poorly today, but hopefully the Packers can rebound from this and, figure out exactly what went wrong against this Saints team. And then if we take a look at the Packers defense, the biggest question has been, with Joe Barry being the new defensive coordinator for this Packers defense, could the Packers be, a top 5, top 10 defense? Because it seems like we have the players. But today they really got shredded, especially in that first half. It was pretty ugly, but overall in the game, giving up 38 points. I mean, the Packers offense didn't help a couple times with those interceptions. We take a look, though, at Jameis Winston, 14 for 20, 148 yards, 5 touchdowns with 0 interceptions with a 130.8 rating. So Jameis Winston had a crazy, insane game, putting up 5 touchdowns. I definitely did not see that one coming. I was wondering, with Jameis Winston coming to the Saints team, how good would he be this season? Because the last time we saw him on the Buccaneers, he threw 30 interceptions. But today he threw 0. There was that one play that was a questionable call by the refs. I thought it was a bad call. It was Zadarius Smith roughing the passer, where it was also intercepted. So I think that pick should have stood. I think it was a pretty bad call. But overall, Packers defense really played poorly, especially if we take a look at the running defense. They ran the ball for 171 yards, averaging 4.4 yards per carry. And it really just seemed like watching that, if you watch that game, especially I noticed in the first half, like anytime they got the ball running up the middle, they got an easy 5-6 yards. I mean, the Packers defensive line just didn't really do anything against a pretty good Saints offensive line in that game. And they just really ran all over us and were able to do pretty much whatever they wanted to do. The Packers corners didn't play great. Kevin King, there was at least one play where he got beat deep, in the maybe third or fourth quarter. Another few plays he got beat as well. So the Packers really just on every front had a pretty terrible game. So hopefully the Packers can come together this week, figure out exactly what went wrong, because definitely lots went wrong in this game. And I guess all we can do, if you're a Packers fan, is hope that they figure out exactly what went wrong. Because I don't think this is like a bad team. I don't think this Packers team is bad. Like I expect them to, be, one of the top teams in the NFC, and to see this performance against a Saints team, it's pretty bad. It's pretty rough. So hopefully the Packers can figure it out. But I'm not going to say one game means the Packers are terrible. Obviously, it was a terrible performance by the Packers. But hopefully they can clean things up, coming into the future. With what has to, come in the future. So next week we play against the Detroit Lions, facing off on Monday Night Football in Green Bay. So we better come in and, sort of clean up what we saw in this game. Hopefully the offense can get things together. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers can, play a little better. I mean, partly, obviously, It seemed like the Saints defense was really doing a good job when it came to covering the receivers. But those 2 picks from Rodgers both, were his fault. Pretty bad throws on both of the plays that he did get picked off on. One interesting thing, Jordan Love did come in at the end of the game. Not that it really mattered, but they decided to sit Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love goes 5 for 7, 68 yards, 0 touchdowns, 102.1 rating. He honestly looked pretty good out there. When Jordan Love went in, I was like, oh boy, if he comes in here and scores a touchdown, I can't imagine what the talk is going to be. Should Jordan Love replace Aaron Rodgers? Should the Packers have traded Aaron Rodgers when they had the chance? I could just imagine the headlines coming out, but nonetheless, I hope Jordan Love has a great career, but he did get some playing time, which obviously is good for his future. And he looked pretty solid. He did have they were about to score. He had a fumble, but not that really necessarily matters for this one. Just an interesting thing to point out. But overall, it was just a bad performance by the Packers. A bad performance overall, as you can tell from the score. So hopefully the Packers can get it together, can figure out what went wrong. Hopefully this run defense can figure out how to stop guys. And one thing going into this game that I talked about was, can we stop Alvin Kamara? And honestly, we stopped him a lot when it came to receiving. He only had 3 receptions for 8 yards, and we know the last time they played back in week 3 of 2020, he had 13 receptions for, I think, 130-something yards. So we stopped him when it came to the pass. But he still ran for 20 carries, 83 yards, and then Jones Jr., their other running back, ran for 50 yards on 4.5 carries. So Jameis Winston really spread it around. No guy had more than 3 receptions, and he only threw for 151 yards. So it's not like he threw for a crazy amount of yards. I think it's crazy that somehow he ended up with 5 touchdowns, only throwing for 148 yards. Great game by Jameis Winston. He was insanely efficient in that one. And it'll be interesting to see if he can continue to play at that level that he has played at in this game. So good game by him. But if you're a Saints fan, you're definitely pumped because you just shut down a team that I think most people expected to be the top team, if not one of the top teams in the NFC, and they definitely did not look it today. And hopefully we figure things out, because if it continues like this, it was ugly, and I don't want to see it happen again. So hopefully the Packers can figure it out. But that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Tough game for sure. But subscribe if you guys want to see more Packers content coming out in the future. I put Packers videos out 1 to 2 times a day, live stream the games, and I'll probably be live streaming other games as well. So hopefully the future games and future streams are a little more exciting, because when your team is just getting splattered, it's not as fun to live stream it. So, it's still fun. I still enjoyed it, and I still enjoyed all you guys who came in, but definitely more fun to watch a team winning together. So hopefully that happens. But thank you guys for watching. If you watched this entire thing, drop a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time.